Feral rad femme small darling lesbian. The reframing of feminism as transphobia is one of the greatest tricks patriarchy has ever pulled. It is pretty convenient that it targets all the things men hate most about feminism/female empowerment. Women's spaces, women speaking about their biology, the want for more focus on female healthcare, lesbian rights, female separatism, breaking down restrictive gender roles for women and girls, speaking out against male violence/sexual violence, etc. I just spent like 5 minutes reading a heart-wrenching post about domestic violence that was really well written. And because you can't mention everything in a post, I was like, alright, let me just check. OP isn't a TERF cause that would suck, and guess fucking what? OP is a TERF. Really makes you realize how easy it is for them to talk about feminism and be reblogged by lots of people. I thought it was a great piece. It described the trauma of being a woman. It would be, on its own, a good feminist post. Fucking hate that. Infiltrating pieces of shit. It's just woke homophobia. This is hilarious. Imagine being this close and then not getting it. Someone wrote an amazing well-researched feminist piece about domestic violence, but then I found out that they don't believe men can become women, so I got mad. Sad face, sap fix so. More like you found out they're guilty of wrongthink but you agreed with her anyways, so now you're experiencing some mega uncomfy cognitive dissonance. Mean Gemini. I dare the trans community to get off the internet for one day. And go outside and get the coronavirus? No thanks. Besides, if I could get off the internet, which I would love to be able to do, it would be great. No more getting harassed and insulted by grown women who think harming trans children is okay. Also, I wouldn't know what's actually happening in the real world if it wasn't for the internet. You tried your best. Radskobai. The fact that this is tagged with TW transphobia when all OP said is to go outside. Radical Coffee Club. Historic radfem libfems be like fuck gender. Literally fucking abolish gender, then go ahead and make more genders? And make everything in their life about gender? Like sis, do you know what abolish means? Can you imagine crying and whining like a baby because someone finally decided to be themselves? Can you imagine? Crying face, poor TERFs. Transphobichocks, the only people crying and whining are y'all when normal people don't use your batshit pronouns. Never gender, pretty sure that changing everything about yourself to take on a new identity because you can't stand yourself as you are, isn't being yourself. The way males can just wear lipstick to be non-binary, but females it requires transitioning and a double mastectomy. This is so manipulative. Trans people are so fucking nasty. Only abusers use threats of suicide to get their way. Respecting a person's pronouns is suicide prevention. I recently saw this on Facebook the other day. This is so dangerous. Suicide has a fucking social contagion element, and they are basically saying that, if you are misgendered, it is appropriate to feel suicidal. Do they not understand how this is the exact rhetoric that costs so many young lives? Misogyny, a secret money pool where women can donate funds so that any woman who needs abortion money can be gifted it every time. How do I like magically make that happen actually? Dyke Boots, donate to https://abortionfunds.org/. Waterbury Stromelin, hey, can we maybe not spread around a TERF post all willy-nilly? Of course the link is helpful, but I think we should take a second to note the language of the original post. That's absolutely suspicion-worthy, and can be fully upgraded to full dog whistle when you search ops blog and find out that they are, in fact, very open and proud of their being transphobic and exclusionary, especially toward trans women. Anyways, what I'm basically saying is to watch the language of the posts you see, since they're often an indicator of either ignorance or outright bigotry, and spreading that language around and giving it voice/a platform only strengthens its cause and the range of its ramifications. Misogyny, shut the fuck up. Never gender, honestly, how annoying and performative can one be? Like, imagine derailing a post about such an important resource to make the focus about some arbitrary, gender shit. Unbelievable. Spider Terf, yellow and grey, God, imagine having such fragile femininity that some ladies having a penis shatters your identity as a woman, like bro, sounds like a you problem. Opabanai all return, imagine having such a fragile identity, that you make it illegal for people to call you the wrong pronouns. With a side of rad, some random radfem, woman, exists, woman, says/does literally nothing offensive or remotely harmful, woman, to anyone, woman, at all, genderists, trigger warning. This person is a cryptiderf. Block and stay safe, pretty books and coffee, alright, I'll ask it. What the hell is a cryptiderf? With a side of rad, a cryptiderf is someone who agrees with / is exploring radfem ideas online but can't post about it because they'll get shunned from their online communities, so they just follow radfem blogs / profiles without interacting. I'll always be here, Smilefin Tomive. It's so annoying how people think the main point of radical feminism is to hate on trans people, which that is not it at all. The reason they are against the idea of transgenderism is because they deny facts, and that female oppression was always based on their bodies, which differed from males. It is indeed important to not cater to trans people's definitions, but the trans issue is only a small part of radical feminism, and only became relevant within the last decade. The Vaginamona blogs, Keef Bowl, reblog if you menstruate we're celebrating, Tsuchi Hannah, Terfs be like you're only a woman if you menstruate, fuck infertile women and women who have gone through menopause. Keef Bowl, I said we're celebrating, you don't have to come if you don't want to. Jean de Subverta, a text post that makes women feel better about menstruating, is not an attack on women that don't menstruate. Seriously, get your head out of your ass. Midsummer Witch, not all women menstruate, but only women menstruate. That's the difference. Kudzu Kills, it also just said, reblog if you menstruate, it didn't even use gendered language. The Vaginamona blogs, menopausal women once did, and infertile women often still get periods, OMG. This is what anti-science does to people. They have no idea how women's bodies work. Yeesh. I'll always be here, talk watchdog, women are allowed to criticize gender. Sorry guys. It's literally the structure of oppression that we live under. Claiming women don't get to criticize gender is anti-feminist, plain and simple. Dark Shadows 713, The School of Rand, at Hooks Rand, January 21, 2021, guys at our school have decided to let bio girls use our locker room if they are uncomfortable. We make sure it's cleared out, then no one is allowed in. Best we can do to look out for our sisters, GFs, cousins, and whatnot. Pass it on. Yeah, it's hat. It's come to this dot now. What happens now when all those trans-identified males realize they're sharing a locker room with only other Tims, and all the biological girls are elsewhere? Will they be screaming to be let into the boys' locker room again? What if grown men did this for women too? It's voluntary, after all. They won't, but still. Tims could have the women's room all to themselves. I bet they wouldn't like that because it has never been about acceptance and safety. For this new breed of adult Tims it seems to be all about fetishization, validation, and power over women. To be only surrounded by other gender LAR pers? Where does the validation come from? Most likely, the school will punish these boys for protecting girls, and punish the girls for being afraid of males in their locker rooms. And they will force the girls back into the locker room with trans-identified boys. I can't imagine what girls these days are going through. I actually do have a great deal of sympathy for some trans kids in locker rooms because I too have experienced it, which is a long story I don't need to post here, but the solution isn't to make even more kids uncomfortable or remove sex-protected spaces for the sake of validation. The bullying that happens to trans girls, and gay boys, in male locker room is what needs to be addressed, but not at the expense of girls. The bullying of trans boys, and lesbians, in female locker rooms also is something to be addressed. The idea is to accept sex no matter the gender presentation, not accept gender presentation no matter the sex. It'll always be here, good for these guys, though. This is what it looks like to be a male ally. Lesbian lizards, this is a nice thought but still dangerous for the girls, cause not all the male students are gonna be so noble. What's stopping any of them from setting up cameras before they clear out? Girls moon sandstars, spy cams were my immediate thought, happy face, teenage boys ain't shit lol, it'll always be here, oh god. That's true. Tetraterizi, I'd be shitting in the hallway. Fuck it. Dark Shadows 713, probably Terf, screaming, trans women are women doesn't actually help them to have their own space to discuss their own issues. By pretending that they belong in women's spaces they're doing themselves an injustice by ignoring issues that are exclusive to them, whilst also forcing women to remove sex-specific issues from women's spaces. But most people are too busy screaming, Terf to actually examine this. Spider Terf, Femrich, Vosh retweeted, Dan Arrows, at Dan Arrows, I'm not a fan of Biden, but him erasing cis women is a step in the right direction. January 21, 2021. It's really fun and telling to see woke leftist men like Vosh retweet things like this, and talk about how TERFs are evil, as if he doesn't jerk off to little anime girls and BDSM porn all day. It's okay for women to be female, when men can come to the thought of degrading us, but when we talk about our experiences growing up female, we deserve rape and death, because we're invalidating porn-sick men who get off from being seen as female because they see femininity as degrading. It's okay for there to be hundreds of different violent, gory, degrading, misogynistic female-exclusive porn subreddits, men's rights subs, and incel subs. But every gender-critical or female-exclusive sub has been banned. Because men have successfully convinced everyone that acknowledging male violence is the worst kind of violence. How can you read one of the very many tweets like this, then look at the state of the world and all the horrific acts men have been inflicting on women since the beginning of time, and continue to believe that trans activism is progressive? Even a man like Vosh, who has dedicated his life to talking about oppressed classes and societal structures, refuses to acknowledge that women are an oppressed class because of our bodies. I've seen enough videos of his to know that he would immediately conclude that any other oppressor can't identify into its oppressed class. Yet he is still a gross fucking man, so of course he, and all other leftist men, would never respect women enough to read anything we have to say about our lived experiences.